Professional wrestling is an interesting beast. It's without a doubt one of the most taxing activities a professional athlete could ever compete in. It's a business dominated by larger-than-life athletes who spend years training to achieve the physique that will one day, hopefully, lead them to fame and fortune. Guys like Hulk Hogan, Scott Steiner, Lex Luger, the Ultimate Warrior, and countless others have gone on to become larger-than-life legends whose feats of strength stand the test of time. But that isn't the only way to cement your legacy in pro wrestling. Just ask guys like Mick Foley, probably the toughest man to ever put on a pair of wrestling boots. Or how about Vader, whose moonsaults defied logic? Even Yokozuna, a man so big, his size was the draw. All legends in the business, but without the matching physique that you'd expect. Sometimes, it's not about how jacked you are. It's about how much punishment you can take. Juggalos and juggalettes. This is the story of Superhuman. Whoop, whoop! Hardcore wrestling is a form of professional wrestling where disqualifications, countouts, and all other different rules do not apply. Taking place in usual or unusual environments, hardcore wrestling matches allow the use of numerous items, including ladders, tables, chairs, thumbtacks, barbed wire, light tubes, shovels, baseball bats, which are sometimes wrapped in barbed wire, golf clubs, hammers, axe handles, chains, crowbars, wrenches, tongs, and other improvised weapons used as foreign objects. Although hardcore wrestling is far less popular today than it was in the 90s, some promotions like Big Japan Pro Wrestling, International Wrestling Syndicate, and Combat Zone Wrestling specialize in hardcore wrestling. Just look up a cage of death match from CZW and get back to me. Hardcore wrestling was first acknowledged as a major wrestling style in Japan with promotions such as Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling all the way back in 1989. It then became successful in America with ECW or Extreme Championship Wrestling. ECW's popularity led to the major American promotions of the 90s, World Championship Wrestling and the World Wrestling Federation, creating divisions devoted exclusively to hardcore wrestling, which mostly amounted to no disqualification weapons matches. The divisions were at first largely centered around ECW alumni such as Mick Foley, Terry Funk, Raven, and the Sandman. In the World Wrestling Federation, ladder matches, which had become more common, were combined with tables and chairs to give birth to the now famous tables, ladders, and chairs matches. The World Wrestling Federation, now World Wrestling Entertainment, capitalized on the success and introduced the WWF Hardcore Championship in the 1990s. The WWF soon began to turn the matches into comedy skits, illustrating the ridiculousness they involved. Hardcore wrestling contrasts with traditional mat-based wrestling where solid technical skills are preferred over hardcore stunt work, blood, sweat, gore, and severe shock value. This is the type of wrestling that inspired Superhuman to create his YouTube channel. Superhuman's content isn't terribly hard to understand. He climbs onto things, and then he jumps off them. He usually lands on something horrific like Legos, thumbtacks, barbed wire, or even a microwave. What you might not know is that his YouTube channel is 4 years old, and that his first 108 uploads are of him cracking various parts of his body. His first video was uploaded on March 17th, 2015. It's of him cracking his back. He's very good at it. For a while, all he seemed to do was crack his back, neck, fingers, and knuckles and upload it to YouTube. He even offers tutorials, though I wouldn't suggest trying it for yourself.
This is how you crack your neck. Put your beard right here and go with it. Please like it.
You know what? Here, enjoy a few more set to classical music. Fear not, however, because cracking various parts of his body is not his only skill. Oh, no sir. You might also be surprised to know that our friend here is also quite the chef, teaching you not only how to cut an apple, Juggalo style of course, but also how to burn it.
What up, everybody? This is a how-to video. And this is how you cut a apple. Juggalo style. Whoop, whoop. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck out. Yeah. Good apple.
Absolutely inspiring. Only a few months after creating his channel, on June 23rd, 2015, he uploaded his first stunt video. In it, he can be seen jumping off a low roof onto what can only be described as a crack house couch cushion. Here, take a look. It wasn't until September, however, until we truly saw the first glimpses of the Superhuman we know today. And while he didn't use his now trademark catchphrase of "fuck this shit," he did dedicate the stunt to his juggalos and juggalettes, something that would become the norm in all of his future stunt videos.
This is Superhuman t-shirt, and this is front flip week. Today I'm going to do a front flip prop to that. This for juggalos and juggalettes. Look like it. Whoop, whoop. Oh!
He spent much of the next year cracking things, running into things,
Should I try this at home? Fuck the teacher! Whoop, whoop! Oh! Whoop, whoop! Whoop, 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 whoop!
and jumping off things.
Oh, fuck my life. Whoop, whoop! Ah! Fuck! Ah! Cut it.
Our man was grinding, and all of his hard work finally paid off. And on October 18th, 2016, Superhuman was about to have the largest audience he's ever had. October 18th, 2016 was the day that Superhuman appeared on the popular Comedy Central TV show Tosh.0. He appeared during the Web Redemption segment, a segment where stars of the viral videos featured would be invited onto the show to be interviewed and explain why they do whatever it is that they do in their videos. During this segment, Tosh interviews Superhuman. Here are some of the highlights. If you would like to see the entire interview, I'll leave a link in the description.
How do you come up with these ideas?
I often watch Jackass and wrestling.
Who's your favorite wrestler?
Jeff Hardy.
What do your neighbors think of your stunts?
They hate me.
What are you scared of?
Nothing.
Who's filming?
My mom.
Are they ever worried that they're about to film their son's death?
They don't really care.
Do you do any tests before you attempt these stunts?
Nope.
His appearance on the show was well received, and as a result, Superhuman's YouTube channel and Twitter started receiving far more attention than ever before, catching the eye of several wrestlers, more notably AEW's Joey Janela. The two quickly became friends, and before you knew it, Janela was appearing in one of Superhuman's videos.
This is Superhuman Show. I'm with my girlfriend Joey Janela, and we're gonna jump onto action figures and VCRs. This is about juggalos and juggalettes. Don't try this at home, and I hope you like it. Whoop whoop. Fuck this shit! Oh, fuck! Oh, fuck!
Janela also wished Superhuman a happy 21st birthday on Twitter and shared an exchange the two had in DMs. It reads as follows. Superhuman starts things off with, "Yo, is White Claw good?" Janela responds, "Do you even drink alcohol?" Superhuman, "Never have." Janela, "So no White Claws for you. Stay sober." Superhuman, "Fuck that." "I am turning 21 tomorrow." Janela, "Then have a few claws." Superhuman, "I'm going to get white girl wasted." Janela, with Paul. Now, Paul is a friend of Superhuman's who sometimes appears in his videos. Superhuman responds,
Yep.
Janela, "Be careful, hummus, and happy birthday." Superhuman, "Fuck being careful. I'ma jump downstairs, Joey Janela style." You gotta love this kid. Meeting and becoming friends with Janela was going to prove to be very beneficial for Superhuman, as what happened next is something I'm sure not even the man himself saw coming. On September 20th, 2019, Superhuman made his professional wrestling debut for Game Changer Wrestling. However, Superhuman was about to find out the hard way that not everyone was a fan of his antics, and that any popularity gained comes with its fair share of detractors. The more popular Superhuman became, the more attention he received, both positive and negative. While most of the people watching were supporters of his, there was a growing part of the audience who began to resent and make fun of him. He eventually appeared on Jim Cornette's radar after his fans repeatedly linked videos to him on Twitter. For those of you who don't know, Jim Cornette has been in the wrestling business for longer than most modern wrestling fans have been alive. He has worked for Continental Wrestling Association, Mid-South Wrestling, World Class Championship Wrestling, Jim Crockett Promotions, World Championship Wrestling, the World Wrestling Federation, now WWE, Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, and Ring of Honor. From 1991 to 1995, he was the owner and head booker of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and from 1999 to 2005, he was the co-owner, head booker, and head trainer of Ohio Valley Wrestling. During the latter half of his career, Cornette focused primarily on backstage positions and transitioned away from his role as an on-screen manager, retiring in 2017. During this transitional period, he had worked as an on-screen authority figure character in Impact Wrestling and Ring of Honor, promotions where he also held backstage positions. Cornette has had an extensive commentary career, most recently serving as a color commentator for Major League Wrestling, What Culture Pro Wrestling, and the National Wrestling Alliance. Cornette is also noted for his long-standing, real-life feud with fellow professional wrestling booker Vince Russo. In 2017, Russo filed a restraining order against Cornette for stalking, though this was Russo being very overdramatic over some comments that Cornette made. Jim Cornette doesn't like hardcore wrestling. There are numerous obscenity-filled rants that can be found on YouTube where he perfectly expresses how he feels. After receiving several tweets and emails, Cornette addressed Superhuman on his podcast, The Jim Cornette Experience.
The same company that encourages the joke business and they encourage the wrestling is supposed to be silly crowd, they're the ones that booked the guy, and I haven't talked about him much. I think we've referred a time or two because people have asked or in passing or whatever, but I didn't want to give it a bunch of publicity. But the guy that does on video on the internet, he jumps off shit into like barbed wire and through tables and tubes and whatever the fuck, right? And that's basically what he does. That's his gimmick. He rips his shirt off and he jumps off the porch or whatever of his mobile home through dangerous chairs and shit. And somebody videotapes it, and they actually, because he's obviously a wrestling fan, but more obviously than that, the reason why I haven't just torn him all up is because the guy's obviously mentally challenged. Let's just come out and say it. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but he's obviously mentally challenged, and I assume he's an adult over 18, although not by much. He ain't that big, and he don't look that old, but I assume he's an adult, but somebody in his family or something has to be, I would think, is responsible for him and has allowed him to do these videos or whatever. And maybe it's great that, you know, whatever fella's name is has become a celebrity, but they're allowing him to do stupid shit that could get him hurt and people laugh at him. And that's supposed to be the fucking woke crowd, isn't it, Brian? All these young people on the internet. It's the same thing here. So this young man's family, somebody that's responsible for him is encouraging this, but this wrestling company, in quotation marks, are the ones who booked him to be on an actual supposed legitimate pro wrestling show, to do his shit with supposed legitimate pro wrestlers. This is the most outlaw bullshit of all outlaw bullshit.
All right, so Jim Cornette is not a fan, but everyone's entitled to their own opinion, right? Well, what Superhuman faced next was potentially far more damaging than an opinion. It was an accusation. On December 7th, 2019, Superhuman's 21st birthday, Devin Monroe tweeted the following at 1:05 a.m. Superhuman deadass called me the N-word on Instagram Live. Why we supporting trash? This caused a storm of outrage over Superhuman allegedly using the N-word on a live stream, and soon after came the cries to cancel him. Oh, I'm so incredibly shocked that happened. A few hours later, Superhuman responded with the following statement. I would like to take a minute and address the rumors started by an individual making false claims and lying to try and get publicity. I am not a racist in any shape or form. I love and support everyone and encourage only positive energy while trying to follow my dream. This person is claiming that I said the N-word on a live stream interview several months ago, without showing any sort of proof to back up his claims, because there is none. Below is a screenshot of the host of this live interview that took place to also set the record straight that the rumor is false. Thank you to everyone for the love and support when people try and bring down and cause negative energy. Whoop whoop! This is the screenshot that Superhuman references in his statement. It's between himself and Joe Alonzo, the host of the live stream. Superhuman starts things off here and he says, "Hey man, I'm not sure if you see everything going on, but I have a question. Have I ever used the N-word on your live stream?" Alonzo responds, "The only N-word you said was nacho." Superhuman replies, "Thanks, man." Alonzo responds, "Thumbs up emoji." Now, I did a little digging, and I found this clip of Superhuman responding to a fan who asked him about the situation. Take a look.
What did you say? What did you say to Devon Monroe?
Who's your black friend? That's not racist.
You said, "Who the fuck's this black guy?"
No, I didn't. I said, who's your black friend? That's not
Bro,
racist.
I'm just saying, dude. Like, I was just looking out for you. Like, you can't just be saying shit like that.
Who's black guy? Oh, that's so fucking racist. Oh,
Dude.
God. Oh.
A far cry from using the N-word, I'd say. This is the only kind of evidence I could find, and I looked for a while. It just doesn't sit right with me, especially since there's no evidence to back up Devin Monroe's claims. Add that to the fact that the host of the stream said it never happened, and Monroe's accusations seem to fall apart. But at the end of the day, I encourage you to draw your own conclusions, but to me, this seems like a desperate attempt at using accusations of racism for attention and nothing more. You know, a wise man once said, if you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough. And while I don't necessarily think Superhuman himself is dumb, some of the stunts he pulls make me question how many shots to the head he's sustained over the years. What it all comes down to is that he seems to enjoy what he does, and that it's paying off for him. He's been granted opportunities few could have predicted, and he seems to be taking full advantage of each and every one of them. I came into this thinking I'd be laughing at the kid for 20 to 30 minutes, but as I wrote this script and started editing the video, I started to respect him. I respect the hustle. I respect the dedication. And I respect his ability to always get back up. Whoop, whoop!
This is Superhuman TV show, and today I'm going to be jumping on to Cactus and Bricks. This is for juggalos and juggalettes. Do not try this at home, and I hope you liked it. Whoop, whoop! Fuck this shit! Oh my god! Fuck this shit! Fuck this shit! Fuck this shit! Fuck this shit! Oh my fucking god! Oh my fucking god! Fuck this shit! Fuck this shit! Oh my god! My fuck this shit! Fuck this shit!
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed episode 2 of It's Still Real to Them. I've recently been suspended off Twitter, so I've been updating the community tab here on YouTube more often. Be sure to check it out. Also, for all Patreon backers who pledge $10 or more each month, you'll now be getting the videos at least 12 hours before everyone else. Ideally, though, it'll be 24 hours. You can also follow my Instagram at MTL Broski, and I have some merch related to this series that you can find on my TeePublic page. All links will be in the description. Be sure to like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.